ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday delivered a somber outcome of the party's special three-day NEC meeting. The suspension of Secretary General Ace Magashule, we're told, is upheld, followed by an instruction that he apologize for trying to counter-suspend President Ramaphosa. No timeline has been given for that apology, but Magashule will face further disciplinary action if he fails to do so. So in what has been a bruising week for the governing party, tripartite alliance partner, the SACP, says there is no backtracking from the ANC's renewal agenda. In fact, the SACP's first Deputy Secretary Solly Mapaila joins us now for more on this big developing story in the governing party. Solly, it's great to have you on the show this morning. You know, there's a lot of talk about the fact that this is a good thing, these developments in the ANC, that it's about renewal. You know, I wonder whether South African voters feel the same way about the turmoil in the governing party.
Good morning, Michelle, and to our viewers. I think this is a very important decision by the NEC, which we fully and steadfastly support as the SACP. Yes, this is a process for the renewal of the ANC. I think South Africans will see this process of renewal because what happens in the ANC in many measures do affect South Africans. So it was a critical decision, a critical moment for the ANC, and we believe that the ANC has risen to the occasion.
Solly, how close is the SACP in terms of, you know, its knowledge of the inner workings of that special three-day NEC meeting that took place over the weekend ending yesterday? How much real in-depth knowledge do you have of what actually unfolded in those discussions?
Well, I'm not in the NEC. We live particularly on what the NEC officially feeds us, which is what we are responding to now. You remember last week we speculated much about what are our expectations, and we can say as the SACP, most of our expectations have been met because we believe that the ANC has been through this kind of difficult period in the past, and as it always came out much better like it did this time. That's why we've made a call to all our members and members in the movement to make sure that they rally behind this call of the National Executive Committee, unify the organization, make sure that it can focus on broader issues that are contained in the NEC statement. As you can see, the NEC statement went beyond just internal matters. It focused on matters affecting the country, the continued fight against COVID-19, matters of economic recovery and transformation, matters of the international, all the issues that are affecting our country were raised in that particular NEC. So we really feel that members of the ANC should realize that the electorate, the people of South Africa, who have mandated them to lead, can no longer afford internal bickerings when the country is really suffering this economic crisis as well as the pandemic of COVID-19.
So it's a local government election year. You and I have spoken on several occasions, and I've spoken to Kasatu as well, and they've certainly threatened on more than one occasion to withdraw from the tripartite alliance, given various issues within the governing party. Where is the SACP at as you speak to us today?
We are glad that also the NEC further discussed this matter, including the concerns that were raised by the alliance regarding the selection of candidates for local government elections, because we have reaffirmed our call that we need competent people who are selflessly required to serve our people, who are not going to local government for self-interest. And the NEC had reaffirmed these important features from the Alliance Political Council. So we're quite happy that at least these matters were fully discussed in the NEC. We'll work out the details with the relevant structures of the NEC to make sure that we prepare well as the alliance towards local government elections. Nonetheless, the SACP had said, if in areas where the ANC is refusing to comply with its own procedures, the SACP would have the right to make sure that in that particular locality, it fields its own candidates.
Are you concerned at all this morning, Solly, about the outcomes of these local government elections? We've seen the ANC losing ground, not only on a local government level, but certainly nationally as well when it comes to the polls. Certainly predictions for these local government elections saying that trend will continue and will continue in quite a big way negatively for the governing party. Are you concerned?
Yeah, we're always concerned about the pace of transformation in our country, the pace of change, because democratic processes, and when you have got, particularly from an underdeveloping country with high levels of poverty and unemployment, continued deepening inequalities, the people will not accept too long to change their lives. So they use elections as a way to reflect the conditions of their own situations. But nonetheless, we also want to indicate that there's been much progress that has been made under the ANC leadership, given where our country comes from and where it was. So we are concerned about elections because they are important as an instrument for continued transformation of our country. That's why we have raised these questions that if the ANC doesn't get its act together, working together with the rest of the alliance, we should be able to mobilize our communities in our own right as the SACP. But in this case, I think that there's been enough and good collaborations to make sure that we can avoid the mistakes of the past, and we're looking forward to a robust local government elections. And we once again believe the ANC-headed alliance will rise above the current petty squabbles and make sure that it represents the people of our country very well.
Yeah, 5 months to go to work out these squabbles that you talk about, Solly. You also talk about mobilizing the community in the run-up to these local government elections. And it's an issue that comes back to the factions within the ANC, doesn't it? Because certainly on the face of it, there are very distinctive factions in the governing party. It's difficult then to rally a community around a united ANC.
Yes, we'll pass that. I think this NEC's outcomes were the first step to unify the organization, to make sure that the organization is not characterized by factions. Like ourselves, last week we indicated that we are not in alliance with factions, we are in alliance with the African National Congress. And we have also seen, for instance, from the NEC statement, further unifying its structures, including military veterans. So in this regard, we're making sure that all the components of the African National Congress, its allies, are unified and they act as one, because without us acting as one, we'll not be able to come out of the morass that South Africa is facing of economic underdevelopment, facing the majority of our people, which is the primary mandate of the ANC, to make sure that the people of our country are not only united, but they come out of poverty as the primary mission that we face today.
So, Solly, let me ask you this. 27 years on, do you believe that the ANC, earlier you talked about the fact that people use their vote to determine their future. Do you believe that the ANC-led government in the country is the vehicle that will take the country forward for the next 27 years?
Yeah, most certainly I do, because the ANC has the most comprehensive transformation agenda on the table. What we have really lacked has been the alignment between those decisions and implementation. And it's the issue that is at the core of the alliance discussion. And we continue to believe that with this program that we have, we can turn around the corner and make South Africa an extremely faster developing country economically, where we can no longer talk about poverty, particularly given the amount of wealth in our country. And I think it is also because of the capitalist system that continues to hoard resources and the wealth of the country in few concentrated hands. And it is the duty of government to transform and make sure that the wealth of the country is shared among those who live in it.
Solly Mapaila, thanks very much for your time this morning on the AM Report. He's the SACP's first Deputy Secretary. And of course, we're talking to him as an alliance partner of the governing party, the ANC. It is, as you can hear, a local government election year.